1, 2, check. Check 1, 2. 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2. 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 1, 2, 2, check. Check, 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 check 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, check. Check, check 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, check, check. Check 1, 2. If I hear anything. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1 2.
I know. I was gonna say you are in the hot seat besides me. You sure you wanna do that? Maybe the mayor
Ah,
Writing. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I don't need microphone to talk to this big, but
So good evening, everyone, and it's great to see so many faces, familiar ones out in the crowd. I'm sure you all have a lot of questions, which is what we're here tonight to do, answer those. I am just grateful everybody's here and out, and hopefully you walk away with all the answers that you need. I'm going to pass the mic over to Blair. He is our acting SAO, and he will be facilitating the meeting. I have, well, they'll be introduced here shortly. Anyway, so moving on, I want to thank you all for coming. I want to acknowledge those that are watching on the live stream. There will be, if you have questions, feel free to send them to either myself. Anything we can't answer tonight, we will definitely take note of and make sure that we answer them back, and hopefully publicly. And yeah, that's it. So I just want to remind everybody, we're all here for the same reason. Safety is, I know, my number one priority, and I'm pretty sure everybody else's. So as long as it's respectful, remember that we're all here to answer your questions, and I drink the waters to my grandchildren. So yeah. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Blair, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Mayor Jameson. So once again, welcome to everyone for coming to this meeting. To begin with, I'd like to introduce our panel. First of all, as sitting beside me, Mayor Candace Jameson, whom you all know well. Beside her is Bobby Bourque, who is the Regional Superintendent for the South Slave Region with Municipal and Community Affairs. Here to answer any questions that involve MACA and their involvement in this. And beside him is our Chief Environmental Health Officer with the Department of Health and Social Services from the GNWT, Chirag Rohit. He'll be the one that's doing the main presentation. And then beside him is Michael. I'm sorry, I can't really say your last name. Michael Swiston. Okay, that's not how it's spelled, but anyway. So just before we begin, I'd like to go over a few guidelines just to keep this evening productive and respectful for everyone. So first, there will be a presentation, as you notice on the screen behind us. And then we will open it up to the floor for any questions that some may have. When that time comes, we ask that we please each one limit ourselves to one question with a follow-up. And then when it's your time for a question, come up to the microphone, state your name, and then clearly ask your question. And then your question will be directed to the appropriate member on the panel. And if you have any questions following the meeting, the contact information will be provided at the end of the presentations for you to take home with you. So now we'll pass it on to Chirag Rohit, Chief Environmental Health Officer, for his presentation.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna stand up. This doesn't look good. My name is Chirag. Many of you maybe remember me. I used to live here for almost 4 years with my wife and my little one. But now I live in Yellowknife. When we issue this public health advisory, again, I truly understand that it's never an easy thing to identify that the drinking water that you are drinking has some chemicals or something that's scary, and we totally understand, and that's why we are here to answer the questions. So I'm gonna go through the presentation again. This is developed for you guys. We listen to all the questions, all the concerns, all the questions you have sent it to us directly or through the social media or to the town. All those ones. Hopefully this will answer most of the questions that you had. And again, afterwards, we are more than happy to answer anything else. So anyway, that's me. Next slide, please. So yeah, as I said, the idea here today is we're gonna give you an overview of what's happening currently right now. There has been questions about who does what. So a little bit understanding of how the drinking water is maintained safe in NWT. And then we're gonna focus a little bit more on what is THMs and why we issue the public health advisory. And then we'll obviously follow up with more questions if you have. Next one, please. Okay, so Many of you might have food safety training with me. So I'm gonna go back to my whole teaching hat and give you a little bit understanding of what happens at the treatment plant. Basically, when we say raw water on the right side, you see that's your Great Slave Lake. We have a pipe going in a couple of kilometers down. That's taking it. In our terms, we call it a raw water, and it goes through a couple of things as coagulation, flocculation, sedimentation, filtration. Not all are in our treatment plant, but with all that, the idea is it removes the organic and inorganic material. So all the plants and leaves and all the sediment that's coming through the watershed up in or down in Alberta, that's the idea. Remove those ones. And once those ones are gone, then we do disinfection. That's with the chlorine, we add into the water in a very small amount. What it does is kills the pathogen like bacteria, virus, and then it just gets into your pipes or gets into your truck and goes to your house. So that's the basic overview of what happens at the treatment plant. Next slide, please. So what are THMs? Why they are forming? So what happens is that they are a group of chemicals. It's abbreviated THM. So if you hear me over and over, that's what I mean by THMs. What happens is I was saying that our filtration system is supposed to remove organic material. What's happening over the year? That organic material in the raw water in the lake is just keep going up. It may be the wildfire, may be what's happening in Alberta, maybe the low water, everything. It's beyond our control, but what's happening is increasing the organic materials, and that material, it's when it interacts with the chlorine, that's what produces THMs. Right now, in NWT and across Canada, every single jurisdiction for the drinking water, it follows a guideline for human health safety set by Health Canada. So what's the value Health Canada have right now? And again, I'll go to it because it's a weird way of setting up. What it says is that value has to be less than 100 microgram per liter, but that has to be calculated as a running average and have to take sample every 3 months. So over 1 year, take sample every 3 months, basically add them up and then divide by the 4, and the value you get, that's what has to be below 100. Not one value, not two value, not three, all 4 spread out over the years. What happens with THM? So generally, why Health Canada has decided that THM has to be a substance that needs to have a health value? Because THMs at high level, so quite multiplication of 100, high level over long period of time, over 70 years, that has shown that it would cause bladder cancers or reproductive defects. Again, I want to explain again and again that it's not one time. Even the values are calculated over the years. It's the long terms, lifetime, 70 years exposure. That's where you start to see some effect with the cancer. How it gets to the humans, like for ourselves, mostly through ingestion, inhalation, dermal absorption. So drinking or the steam, like inhaling the steam, or through the hot water on your skin. Maybe the smallest amount, but the ingestion, inhalation of that water, which is high in the THM, that's how it gets to the human body. In your regular air, so as I'll go to the public health advisory, but because it says that the water can stay overnight, when it gets into the air, it dissipates. It's a gas. It just basically goes away from the water, as you have seen chlorine, right? When the high chlorine is, your water looks a little bit of murky, but then after a couple of minutes, it goes away. Same idea happens with THM. So it just goes away in the air. You will not breathe in, or breathing in is not a risk. Same happens with the food. It doesn't stick on the food or absorb into the food, and that doesn't get to your body. Next slide, please. So what's happening in Hay River? I understand that the public health advisory, the way we write, doesn't give a full information to public. And again, with the THM, the numbers can be very jarring and very technical. But if you look through it, June 2024, the values were 18 for town of Hay River water treatment plant. In the August last year, 106, then it went a little bit down in the January, it went up and it went up. So what happened here till April 2025, the average wasn't above 100. But when we add the August value and remove the June 2024, now we find that the running average is higher than what Health Canada has set for human health. That's what triggers for us. I also want to say that we do have data. We have data going back all the way to 2014. There has been time where the values were high, but when we combine all the data to the date, the values are 86. So as I was saying, that 70 years of exposure is what's going to give you any human cancer risk. Over the 10 years, like, it has never been higher. What's happening is just last 1 year of running average. Why it's happening? Well, as I said before, it's the organic materials in the Great Slave Lake. It's not in our control. It's just being high. And it's not the organic material that you see, it's the dissolve, like the organic material, the plants, leaves, grass, algae, they are just dissolved into the water, and it's very hard to remove. With that, when our plant was designed many years ago, this is what was not a normal thing. Our plant wasn't designed for this one. So the plant is working as it's supposed to work. It's just what we are throwing at the plant, or what nature is throwing at the plant, is different thing. Some may ask is like, why don't we lower the chlorine amount or stop adding chlorine? That's not an option, because if you remove chlorine from the water, you are promoting bacteria. Those are immediate, very high risk of everyone getting sick. We cannot remove chlorine or lower it below what's needed for our water treatment. Next slide, please. So questions comes as well, that who is responsible for it, whose fault it is. Um, this is nobody's fault. The idea is that drinking water is a shared responsibility across all level of government. We are all working very diligently to make sure the water coming to our home is safe for everyone. In a simple terms, the community governments, they own the treatment system. They have the water treatment plant operator. They run the day-to-day operations. When it comes to MECA, especially for the non-tax-based community, which is not Hay River, for them, they provide a little bit more technical services. But for the tax-based community like Hay River, they are still engineers who are specialized in drinking water and treatment systems. ECC and water boards at large are responsible for making sure that what's happening in our nature, how the large industries or something taking water, how they're adding water back into it, including town of Hay River, those are monitored through them. And then last one is Department of Health. Next slide, please. So what do we do as a Department of Health? Environmental Health Officer, like Mike, who's responsible for South Slave, myself, Chief Environmental Health Officer, we are all working under the authority of Chief Public Health Officer. Under the Public Health Act, there is a main regulation called Water Supply System Regulation. That's the main regulatory legislation that we use to make sure that the water that's coming to a home is safe. What do? We are the final approval of the water treatment plant. So if there's a new treatment plant, we make sure that the water produced by the treatment plant is meeting the regulatory requirement. And that again goes back to what Health Canada has set standards for all the Canadians. We make sure that the treatment plant operators have proper education, they have certification, they have continuous education, so they are aware and skilled to run their treatment plant. Also, we make sure that once the treatment plant are operational, the water delivery, water transportation, those are safe. The day-to-day operation is safe. Sanitation, we are not adding anything into treatment system that can compromise the water quality. And then the large, at best, we do is maintain the water quality. So we have standards, and again, that goes back to Health Canada, Canadian standard that's applicable to any part of the Canada. We we enforce those, and mostly they are done through monitoring. So basically the town collects the samples, and the samples are monitored for the values and analyzed for those. And the last one that goes back to us having a responsibility under the Public Health Act, much larger, to make sure that we take firm and immediate action. be it be a public health order or be it be public health advisory, to make sure that people have education, knowledge, and awareness to protect their own health. What is monitored? What has been done here or does across the whole territory? There are daily tastings, so turbidity and chlorine. The town is required to maintain those tasting and report every day. We have monthly and weekly tasting where the bacteriological, the E. coli and coliform, the organism that can make you sick right away very seriously, those are monitored. You will see THMs quarterly. Again, this goes back to how Health Canada have set for everyone to monitor the THM levels. And on top of that, annually, there are 28 different parameters which you might be aware of it, like lead and iron and all those parameters, they are tested once a year. Next slide, please. Okay. So, is this the next slide? All right. Okay. Maybe I screwed up a little bit. So, I'm sorry about that, but the question remains, okay, what can you do? Why did we issue public health advisory? Because I really wanted to explain this. As I was saying, going through the previous numbers of the what was happening, when this September, August samples came in, we identified the values are going up. Again, those samples values are going up. 100 is the standard we want to maintain, is slightly going up. We do review what's happening with it because historically, every time we have seen a THM value going up, there's always associated something. So either we have a forest fire or we have a spring breakup, something that's bringing lots of organic materials into the water. That's where you're expecting to see high level of THM. That's not the case right now. We've been seeing that the treatment plant is operating as it's supposed to operate. Everything is working as it's supposed to work, but the issue we are having is that constantly the organic material in the water, that's just going high. And the downside of it is that we have THM production. So what you can do to protect yourself, that's what um, lots of main goal of the public health advisory. Public health advisory is not about creating a panic. It's not about or finding a blame or something. It's really at heart of it. It's about giving every one of you understanding of what's happening with the water and what you can do to even further protect yourself. The values are not that high, just slightly above. It's just starting to happen. The exposure is over 70 years, but it's our duty to make sure that you are aware, you have all the knowledge available to you to protect yourself. So what you can do, well, the one of the risk is inhalation, is the steam, the THM, when they are disturbed, they come into the steam, and that's what's happening through most of the absorption is happening. And that's why the science, again, this is all based on number of studies has happened. And basically the advice comes to is limit your shower to 10 minutes or less, limit your bath 30 minutes or less, and again, improve the air circulation, maybe running an exhaust. I understand opening window is not always what's possible in up here, but again, that's one of the advice. I'll again highlight the point is there is no immediate risk. The values, yeah, not that much high. It's starting to creep up. It's very unlikely anyone, a healthy individual, can starts to feel symptoms by these values. The only thing that we have seen, or which the science basically provides, is that people, if you have pre-existing respiratory conditions like asthma or COPD or something, yes, you might want to take extra precaution because those THM it starts to irritate your respiratory system because it's already a little bit weak. Next one, please. What else you can do? So another way the THM can get into your body is through either drinking or cooking food. So one of the easiest thing you can do is just letting the water sit overnight. Letting it sit overnight for a certain period of time, it will just evaporate from the water. And again, it goes into air, it doesn't stick around, it doesn't, the breathing in through air, it's not shown to have any impact on humans. Boiling the water will also help remove the THMs from it. Filters, there are filters available. We understand that the public health advisory mentioned Brita, and yes, the Brita, not all of the Brita filters are supposed to be, But again, the idea was to give an understanding of those kind of filters. There are multiple brands out there. Again, look through it. If they are available, those ones will also remove THM. Other things you can do is there are faucet mount filters under the sink filters. The standard you want to look for it is NSF 53. Those certificates are designed, those are only given where the filter system is able to remove not only THM but number of other chemicals as well. Obviously, alternative source is an option. Again, these are in no sense we are saying that yes, your water is bad absolutely and use bottled water. That is not the idea. The idea we have is we want to give you every single possible option and empower you to take action that's appropriate for own health. We look through the Northmart and Home Hardware. EHO has reviewed those systems, and those are certified to remove THMs from it. The other things you can do is for baby formula or something, again, boiling the water and making baby formula out of it, still remove THM from it. And again, that goes in the same line. Any kind of ventilation, again, they don't stick in the air, but improving ventilation will again expedite the way it's removed from the air or in the house. So using exhaust or some kind of ventilation improvement in your kitchen, that will do it. Next slide, please. Does your water is bad? No, you can use your water. You can use your water to brush your teeth. You can do your wash your hands, laundry, regular household cleaning. The water is fine. Water is fine when you are drinking it or when you're using it for shower or something. Certain precautions is what we are recommending that you take to protect yourself from the exposure. Again, short-term exposures are not shown to have any symptoms. It's the 70 years long-term lifelong exposures. That's where we have seen the symptoms. We do not recommend drink out of lake or river directly. Those are still higher risk with the bacteria and virus in the water. Next one, please. So where we are, where we are right now. So I'm divided into two parts. The main thing is we as a public health have issued public health advisory. Again, this is a precautionary public health advisory issued so that you are aware of what's happening with your water, what you can do to further reduce your exposure. We are doing public education. We are bringing out more FAQs. Again, this FAQs and everything is informed by the question that you ask us. We want to know what information is not clear to you. We are more than happy to do our research and provide you those information. We are working with the town. We are working with other partners to make sure that any support we can provide to empower the public, we are doing so. Questions are about, okay, how it will be resolved, how long it's going to take. Those are complex questions. Drinking water treatment is not as simple as what I showed on the slide earlier. The treatment plant is a huge plant providing millions of liters of water every day with the pressure, and it goes through lots of automated systems. Those are not simple systems, but everything is on table. We are trying to look at what we can do to reduce the organic material coming in the plant, what or how much we can reduce the chlorine levels so the THM production is reduced. So multiple options are on track. And again, it's unfortunately a little bit trial and error, but again, the ultimate goal is water must remain safe and not contaminated with either more bacteria or virus, which can make you sick very immediately. And we are doing is enhanced monitoring. Again, as we implement some kind of modification, we want to take samples are taken this week, next week, over monthly we want to take samples and understand how the actions we are taking of impacting the THM level production in the treatment plant. We are supporting community government. Again, they are the lead. They are working really diligently and hard to understand the system and make modifications, and working with MECA and the engineering expertise to to optimize the plant where we still have the safe water and we can still reduce the THM production. Again, when do we expect to see something? We are at this point expecting a couple of months. Certain things are beyond our control. Water might start to come clean. We don't know. But again, as we these are the complex system, we don't want to jeopardize how the system is working. So we are working diligently and making sure that as we make some actions, we are monitoring those one. If the values are going down, we will reassess the public health advisory. Okay, next one. All right. So again, to the town of Hay River Facebook and all the other media, you have seen our contact information. So please, if any question related to public health advisory, water quality regulations, and all the information, please contact us, Environmental Health, either email, phone. If you go on our website, there's an online fillable form as well. You can use any means and we will get back to you. Town of Hay River, you can reach out if you have a question about the plant operation, public works, or the town administration. The town has a contact information. And again, if you are experiencing symptoms, if you are genuinely concerned and have some kind of symptoms happening with your health, please reach out to your health center. Next one. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everyone, to hearing me out. I will go back to town.
Thank you, Rob, for that presentation. I'll just take a few minutes there now to provide an update on what the town has been doing and working towards when it comes to replacement of the water treatment plant. Obviously, as was mentioned, it has been around for nearly 50 years and it is working the way it's designed to, but it is at the end of life. And so in 2020, MACA helped the town to complete a full review of the water system infrastructure, and they recommended that construction of a new water plant begin within 5 years. And so in 2021, we began the water treatment plant feasibility study and preliminary design that we did with some consultants, which focused on technology suited for northern conditions, while also endeavoring to reuse existing infrastructure where possible. This study was completed in 2022, and it guided the preliminary design report, which was completed in 2024, which laid out a detailed plan and as well as a cost estimate for the project, which currently the estimated cost for the new water treatment plant is approximately $26 to $28 million. We also added work to convert the in-town reservoir disinfection system from chlorine to a safer, more modern liquid disinfectant, which would improve the safety for staff and would meet the updated regulatory standards. After this study was done and these preliminary design reports were finished, the town met with local Indigenous governments and service communities to present the study and the preliminary design. We have also prepared and submitted a funding application to the Canadian Housing and Infrastructure Fund, or CHIF, seeking up to $28 million to design and construct a new water treatment plant. We qualify for 75% of federal funding, but we're actively advocating for 100% coverage, recognizing that this facility is not just serving Hay River, but also to Indigenous communities and the hamlet of Enterprise. We've also been lobbying both the territorial and federal governments for support of our application, as well as for pathfinding assistance to access other potential funding programs. And we are also monitoring the federal budget that's tabled this week for any new infrastructure or climate adaptation funding opportunities that could help to advance this project. So the design is ready, the groundwork is complete, we just need the funds to start construction. So thank you to our panel for the presentation tonight. We'll now move on to the question and answer portion of the meeting. We'll continue this until 8 p.m., at which point we'll bring the formal session to a close. A few reminders before we begin. Once again, if you have a question, please come up to the microphone, state your name, and then have one question with a follow-up. We ask that you keep the questions brief so that we can hear from as many people as possible, and then we'll direct the question to the appropriate person. For those who may not feel comfortable speaking at the microphone, if you have additional questions after 8, the members of the panel will remain for a few minutes afterward to speak with residents informally. And for those who are watching live stream, any questions that you have can be directed, as is on screen, to Health and Social Services or to the townhall@hayriver.com email. So let's begin with our first question.
My name is Mike Mercurdy. I'm from Paddle Prairie, Alberta, originally from Fort Chippewa. We have the same problem what you guys are going through right now. Cancer rate for our community is very high because of the drinking water, and they're paneling to fight for that now. And you guys, I hope you guys start helping the people. Oh, these guys drinking this water saying it's good. In 70 years, you're going to hit cancer. That's not good. So you're going to find another alternative than doing this. You know, I believe in the mayor and I believe in all you guys trying to do your jobs. But the thing is, every 3 months, why don't you every month? to get to see what the THA is all about. I don't think that's fair for the community of Hay River to go through that. I think you guys should up it to every month because it's serious kind of water. Water is life. Our grandkids drink it. They don't know they can't drink it. They go ahead. They still drink it. Who knows? Like you're saying that First Nation, you get water from here. Why don't you ask them to get grants too to help you guys? You can do that too, right? So it's simple.
Yeah, I asked the same question. Why are we not upping them? It is a standard. We're barely over the 109. It is, I mean, I think that we get the wrong impression when we talk about, I mean, we're no strangers to boil water advisories, and thus we are, well, I know I've been talking to a whole lot of people in Ottawa about a water treatment plant that we needed. I didn't meet with anybody that didn't hear that Hay River needed a water treatment plant, I'll tell you. So we know we need a new one. What that's going to look like is obviously we're going to have the best that we can get. But it also means that hopefully we don't have to have a boil water advisory. But what I did learn over this past week, asking different questions, is the E. coli, the bacteria, and all that. So those previous boil water advisories that we've been under are way more serious than this one. And I think that when you see that 70 years cancer, the minute we say cancer, we all panic and block out and don't hear the rest of it. So understanding what we're up against, that, yeah, we're up against E. coli, bacteria, stuff like that in the spring. And that's almost been an annual thing. So this, yes, though it's inconvenient, you're not breathing it unless you're in steam. It's the steam off the water when you're boiling it that you need your fan on. Your hot shower, have a little cooler one, turn your fan on. So it's not as scary as it sounds, right? But their job is to ensure that the testing is done 4 months. That's the standard. It's 100, anything over that, and it's that average. So go ahead. Hopefully that helped.
James McPherson. I noticed your chart there said in August we had 126. We weren't notified about that.
There. So
Okay.
it will go up.
So it's
and it'll go
109
down.
now, and you guys
14.
notified us, but it was 126. Why weren't we notified as soon as you guys get the results?
It's a 4.
I see it's an average, yes, but still, like
Over
the
the
guy
year.
said, we should be letting us know every month, right?
That's every month. I'll let you answer.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, so we absolutely understand, like this DHMs, the way the Health Canada asks us to monitor, it's odd, but it's based on science. And the reason why it does so, because the risk is not immediate, because the risk is over the years. The way DHM produce, it can fluctuate so often that we cannot have like public health advisory 1 day on, 1 day off. That's not how it's gonna work.
Well, we're not saying 1 day, we're saying
Yeah.
3
So
months.
so even monthly, but the average, that's the standard that's adopted across Canada, not only across Canada, even US and other places. That's the method they have set for public health to make a risk assessment. So we would love to deviate from it, but it's not adding any protection, because the protection is supposed to be over many years. A short-term risk is almost negligible here.
Okay. Also for Mike, I talked to you on the phone yesterday. You pretty much washed your hands of it when I talked to you. You kind of laid blame on the town and you took no responsibility. There was a lot of pointing fingers, it seems like, between EHOs and the town. I mean, we're supposed to be working together here for the health of all of us. I mean, who's taking responsibility? Who's like, and why aren't you providing water for us? Buffalo Airways just flew in water for us and gave us a discount. No, the town hasn't done anything. The town has done nothing. No water, nothing saved, no discounts on anything. Co-ops jacking up their prices. Northern's jacking up their prices. You know, why isn't the town doing something here? This is This is our children. This is our grandkids and our elders are the
Fair
ones who
enough.
were the ones who are suffering the most.
Fair enough. Here, I don't know if we weren't listening or didn't hear. 24 hours with your water sitting in the fridge or on your counter.
Okay.
Or wherever.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I
Okay.
heard all that.
So the cost of that water treatment plant costs money every time we treat it and to get it to your door or whatever, right?
Okay, well, Brita
So,
water filters
if
work,
you're
but we can't
using
put a Brita
less-
water filter at the outlet of the treatment program, like a big one.
I just,
Like
yeah.
it seems pretty simple.
That
Like, why is
is-
it tasked to the public to make the water safe?
This,
right?
it's the water, I guess,
I guess,
absolutely.
I guess.
No, what I'm saying is that this isn't our first time round and our water treatment
it's
is
not.
at the
It's
end
not.
of life. It's not. The water treatment plant is at the end of its life. And we have that water treatment plant has been on our capital plan for 10 years. And if you
Well, I
don't
think we need
think
to fast track that.
how do you, like, did you hear the cost of
I hear
that?
everything.
28 to 30 million dollars or 26 to 30.
Okay, well, we built a hospital we didn't need in record time. We got a fire hall that's ridiculous. That but our hot water, our water, that's the most important thing to us is.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And we are shovel ready should we get this application approved, like I said. So
Yeah.
are we probably 3 years out from a water treatment plant? But again, this is what we are dealt with at this time. And that this is a public health warning to let you know what you can do to mitigate any risk to yourself, especially if you have lung issues or whatever.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Hi, my name's Diana Smith. I'm just looking at the data that you provided for us and the dates on that data. And can we get some clarity on why this announcement is being made at this time? Like what was the what spurred the announcement? What was the alert that caused it to happen at the time that it did? I understand that there's sort of a running average throughout the year, but why like what would spur you to do it at this point?
Absolutely. Again, so if you look back the data, till we had the August sample date. Again, those are the sample dates, not the result date. It takes time for lab to process those results. Till that sample, the running average was below 100. So there was, again, even though we are monitoring the values sort of jumping up, it was below 100, and that's the public health trigger point to take action. Again, it's not just the action, it's investigation, because we regulate the whole treatment plant. So when we identified that the values are going up in a season, in a time of the year where we shouldn't be going up, that's where the investigation starts. That's where we look at okay, what's happening at the treatment plant? Is something broken? Is something changed? Is there anything that's happening which would explain why the values are going up? And as we sort of investigate into an obvious causes and we rule out those ones, that's where we come to the conclusion that no, this is the water that's coming through. There is no modification. It's not we are adding more chlorine into it. It's not we have a filtration that's breaking down. Those things are not happening. So it's not something that's within the system's control, and still we are having high levels of THM, and that's what triggers us to reach out to the public. Again, the values are very low. The short-term risk is almost none, but it's our duty to make sure that you guys are aware of what's happening with the water and all the action that you can do to protect yourself. Again, and this is part of the continuum. Our investigation doesn't stop. We work with the town, continue to work with the town till we have a resolution. We will continue to monitor the results. And again, to answer the earlier individual, we are enhanced monitoring, meaning we are implementing where town is taking sample every month, because yes, it is a running average, and we want to see what works for the treatment system to reduce the THM, and we want to give people information of how that's improving the water.
Thanks, Chirag. My next question is, how come in your media alert there were no levels for the public to see? Not to judge or blame. I understand this is really a difficult thing to deal with as public relations people, but we were kind of left with no information. That was Monday night. It's Thursday now. There's a lot of speculation that can happen on social media in that amount of time. Obviously, you have the levels here. You have the data. What happened there?
Again, I guess that's also for us to lesson learn, and at the same time, we do not want to deviate from the ultimate goal of the public health advisory. The ultimate goal of the public health advisory is to provide you guys with the information and education to reduce the risk to yourself. The values are, again, what is the value difference between 100 and 109, and those numbers can difficult for people to interpret, and that's why we choose with the simple message about what's happening. Again, we never stopped working on it. We are working throughout to make sure that the water, we get to the point where water is safe again. The numbers, as we go forward, we will release those numbers and what the actions are happening in background.
Okay, my last question. This one's for the people who live here. At what point did you guys stop drinking the water?
I'm still drinking it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I appreciate that honesty. I mean, I've been drinking tap water the whole time. I thought Hay River had the best water in the world. I had no idea any of this was going on until Monday night. So I mean, I ask you that just sort of like tongue in cheek, right? And I'm not trying to offend anybody, but like, you're saying this is a 70-year average. That's when you're going to see your cancer rates. Most people get cancer by the time they're 70. I mean, how scientific is that? It speaks a lot knowing that, Ms. Jameson, you are still drinking the water. So thank you for admitting that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Terry Allen, and I live on the shore of Great Slave Lake. And I'm just wondering if part of this problem has come about by the level of our lake water. On the shore in front of my house, we see a lot of weeds now that were never there 5 years ago, a lot of waterfowl. And is our intake for our water just too shallow now? Is that a contributing factor? Is it the whole shoreline has changed?
Again, I think that might be a question more for Department of Environment and Climate Change to answer, that what's changing with the lake water. But as far as what we monitor is the water that's coming in the treatment system, basically the pipe that's down in the lake and coming through it. It does show that the organic materials that dissolve in the water are rising. What can be the cause of it? It can be many causes. It's a whole environment.
I just think years ago, the intake, that water was a lot clearer, and now it's not. So that being said, can we have our intake farther out? Would that resolve some of these problems for future climate change, our lake getting lower? Like, it's probably dropped, I would say, at least 5 feet in level over the last 5 years.
Which is a lot of water.
So it's probably murky, dirty water that we're drawing in. So just something to think about, maybe extending the intake out. I have no idea what that would cost. So just something to think about. And my second question is, talk about the new water treatment plant and getting rid of the chlorine and a new modern way of treating it. Will that eliminate these gases?
It would eliminate, yes.
So we wouldn't run into this problem anymore?
Correct. My understanding is back in 2006 is when standards changed. So our water treatment plant built how many years ago? It's been here as long as I can remember, and I don't know, it's 50, 60 years old. So it was built to the type of water we were drawing in back then. I mean, we all know what's happened to this community over the last how many years. Did the flood contribute to how much organic materials out there? Like we all saw how many trees came out and rotted. I mean, organisms are organisms.
So actually my question was, can this the new treatment is a different way of treating.
Correct.
Chlorine's taken out of the picture from what
Correct.
the presentation that you gave. That seems to me the problem right now is the interaction between chlorine and the organic matter. So will the new treatment with this new modern way of treating eliminate this problem?
Yes, it's my understanding, but I will defer to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Again, that's the idea. Like, I'm no expert in the engineering or the treatment plant design by any means, but my basic understanding is that as they do the study about the new treatment plant, they look at most possible highest level of turbidity the town has seen, and for again next 30, 40, 50 years, and they design the plant that able to clear that water. So if and again in last 30, 40, 50 years, there has been lots of new technology, advancement in terms of filtration, whatnot. So it's most likely, yes, if we have a newer treatment plant that will be able to resolve those issues.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to see the water treatment plant, the new one. And I think also moving our intake farther out into the lake, into the deep water. Like the fishermen, when they pull in their drinking water, they go way out into the lake and get nice clean water that they use. But we're getting it so close to shore now. So look, to me, those are two factors that should be looked at. Thank you.
Hi, Debbie Watzik. I moved here 2 years ago. And I just want to tell the people of Hay River, start the clock. We're 2 years into that 70-year period. Because the first notable result was last August 24. So it's a year and a half in about now. And I do agree with the comment earlier about extending. It sounds like we're sucking slough water with all the organic, that to extend that out. And appreciate that you say the new water plant was on your capital plan 10 years ago. Why did you just start working on it 4 years ago?
We've been working on it since
No, you recounted dates, and good luck with that. I guess my question is, my house doesn't come with a filter system. So if I buy one, do I get to bill the town? Like if I'm going to have to change how I manage my own water, can we get a break on our property tax or something? Because I mean, this is a lot to do, and it sounds like this is not going to end. If we got fluctuations in and out of this, and I know COVID and other things made things challenging, but we need to move forward on it. And as much as you're asking the community to do everything to keep themselves safe, I would love to see the town hall doing as much as they can as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Clark. I have a couple of questions. First, you say it's 70 years exposure. I've been drinking the water for 46 years, since I moved to the NWT. Is there a public record of the chests in that 46 years so I can see how many times we went over the 100? Maybe over the year we didn't go over the 100, but obviously since we were at 128 in August, there were times we were over the 100. How many years have I been consuming 8 glasses of water a day over the 100?
So the records that we have, again, the Health Canada guideline came in 2006. So we do have a record going back to 2014. Those are publicly available on our website even right now.
Okay. Secondly, you say it doesn't affect food, yet you can't boil food in it. It doesn't affect air, yet you can't be in steam. This doesn't make sense to me.
So the steam, right? So steam is still it's still in a form that's a liquid, and that's where again, this is all coming from the science. The studies have done, and that's what it shows, that when you are boiling water, that's disturbance in the water is what sort of releasing this gas, and it goes along with the steam, and that's where the highest risk is associated with it. When you leave it outside, it sort of dissipates into the air just as a gas, and it doesn't stay. It's not a heavy or gas or something that stays in the air that long. So the scientific information on it is very clear. It's the inhalation of steam. Again, when you are boiling food or cooking food and the water is boiling, that's what's the issue. It's not the food becomes an issue. It's the boiling of water. That's what's
But
creating steam.
just a follow up on that. To clean water to give to a baby, you boil it for 1 minute. But to boil potatoes, say, for 20 minutes, that first minute you're releasing steam that's going to be a problem. But 20 minutes in, we're still releasing that steam.
No, again, it goes away very quickly. So the values that we have right now is the average is coming out 109. So it's slightly above. As every second goes by, every time goes by, it's removing from the water. So boiling water for 1 to 3 minutes, the levels of THM remaining at that water it's way below what Health Canada standards are, and that's why it's safe for drink afterwards. Same what when we issue boil water advisory, the same principle applies. Boiling it for the couple of minutes kills off all the pathogens in the water, and it's safe to drink afterwards. It's the steam. It's not the continuous, because when you are boiling potato, it's the same water continuously boiling. Shower, it's continuously new water is coming in at hot temperature. It's the new steam is constantly forming from the new water that still have THM. So the two are very different, because one is the same water, it's dissipated, it's already gone from the THM when you are boiling for food. What we are asking for is, again, and running an exhaust will quickly remove those steam from the environment very fast.
So if I boil my water, my potato water for a minute before we do anything else, it should be good to cook.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Just an aside, I'm going to be 74 this year, and I was born and raised here. I drank that water because we started life as a commercial fishing operation all my life, you know, untreated for many years. So I think the only person in the room is maybe Ronnie Hamilton or Gary Carter could exceed my record. And I'm still here. I don't have cancer. And I'm just saying, I'm dubious about that claim that it'll take 70 years. There's so much in our environment. There's so many triggers for cancer. And I think this whole issue with how much, I worked in renewable resources for 30 years. And I took a water resources course. I inspected that plant when I first started out in my career with the federal government, which had forestry first. And so I'm kind of familiar with that. And I looked online at the Canadian Water Guidelines and the license that the town has and all that. And that's okay. I just think there was a problem in messaging to us. As soon as you say cancer, everybody's kind of, you know, and I guess I'm blessed. I have a relative that works in water quality, and he said to me, no, it's not really anything to worry about. Just follow the guidelines, follow the, you know. So I don't drink the water on my tank anyway. So I let it sit because of chlorine. But I just want you to improve your messaging in the future, because it could have all been handled with a notice. You know, I really think for me it could have been, you know, just saying there's no, don't fear, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, Diana is in, you know, she's a former journalist and she said it best. So the other thing I want to ask about is that treatment plant. You mentioned taking it to the governments to look at it. I would like to see it as a ratepayer, because I want to know, are you going to build it in the same place? Don't forget, we've had issues with flooding in the past, and I don't know if we will in the future. But I really would like to see as a resident, as I'm sure people in the community, about our treatment plant. So I'm asking the mayor, it's not a question. Could you make sure we see it too?
Absolutely.
Ray Levesque, same thing, the messaging. Why did we have to hear about this at 5:23 on Monday from Cabin Radio? Like, it was kind of a very poor thing, because my inbox the next day was filled with our clients in Public Works asking what the hell's going on with the water, and we had no answers to give them.
Yeah.
What happened there with the breakdown? How did Cabin Radio get it before the town of Hay River put it out?
I asked the same question.
No,
Got
first and foremost, we apologize for that. That was never the intention. That was never the plan. It's simple as technological glitch. The idea and the process is always been to update the government website first and provide copy and information to the community governments and impacted government and councils. And the third one is obviously to reach broader audience and people. We reach out to media. Again, this happens in succession. Just by the technological glitch, the website didn't update. It's simple as that. It was absolutely not by any intention. It was just something that didn't work as it's supposed to work. And we learn from it. We obviously can do better next time, and we will do better next time.
Because I know with Fort Smith, all this going out, and then Fort Smith put out, hey, our water is good. It's like the town of Hay River never even had a chance to explain any of this. It's all the fear mongering, it's cancer, it's all this. You guys got to do better. You really do.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
My name is Donna Lynn. I'm a resident of Old Town, where it's very different from Hay River. Yeah. Okay, we have a pump house in Old Town. So is the problem within the system in Hay River, or?
It's where the water is treated. Yeah.
Okay, so in Hay River or on?
Well,
at
it's
the
the
pump
water.
house?
The water is the problem that we're pulling in. Our treatment plant is too old to treat what we are dealing with. So it's the actual water, the organics in the water are what's causing the problem.
All right, so, and in Old Town and other parts of Hay River, we have holding tanks. So we
Correct.
get our water in, it's delivered to our homes and it sits there. Okay, can we just use that water after 24 hours? I know there's an exhaust going out on the outflow, and you know, you could lift the tops off the
Yeah,
tanks.
I
Like,
believe
is it-
you're in a way better position. Anybody on trucked water is in a better position than those of us on tapped water. Like you said, it isn't about volume, it's about how long it sits. So yeah, number one, it's when it's moving, it's losing gases going into the truck, then it's losing gases being dropped into your tank, and then it sits there and it's safe.
Okay,
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
they're saying, yeah.
okay, and there are indigenous communities that are also affected, like Kisa and Ketludiche.
Correct.
Where are they on this? I don't see any representation from them. And do they apply for separate money for their water filtration systems and purification?
They buy their water from the town of Hay River, right? And they are notified the same way as we were.
Okay, so there's no collaboration between any of these communities that, you know, you're trying to pull money from the federal government at
there is lots,
75%, right?
there's lots of partnerships, yeah.
Yeah, so
There is.
does that include the indigenous communities? Or Are
Yes.
you going to continue to just sell them water?
No, I would really like them to be partners in this because the federal government will give us usually 25% dollars.
Mhm.
So coming up with 25% of 26 or 28 million dollars is a lot of money. And it's why we don't have a brand new water treatment plant right now. There isn't a community our size that could afford a $30 million water treatment plant right now.
Okay.
So it's been in the planning we are ready, when they say yes, yeah, it would be great
Okay.
if we had that.
And then there was a comment, like, did you not read it or did you not hear it? Like about these, what's going on with this? And with Indigenous communities, is there an outlet for them to understand? Like if they did not hear it or if they can't read
If they
it?
can't see, yeah, absolutely. I can only I speak for my community. I don't speak for anyone else's.
Mhm.
I would hope that we've gotten as much information out there as possible in the media and Facebook and, I'm going to pass this to Bobby because he is with MACA, which
Yeah, so my name is Bobby Burke. I'm the regional superintendent with MACA out of the Fort Smith office, and we've got staff that have knowledge in water treatment and work with all our communities in the South Slave, but offer more assistance to some of our smaller communities. And so when this did come out on Monday, we made sure we spoke to Enterprise, Kakiza, KFN, because we know they all get their water from here to try and explain a little bit what that public health advisory said and encourage them to continue to follow the recommendations that have been put out. But yeah, to try and explain
I
what
could only
what
imagine
the
like with somebody,
one-pager said or
somebody who doesn't understand the
FAQs.
process and everything would get like, even like, look at us, we have everything explained to us and we're still scared of what the outcome is. So what about these people that don't, they don't really understand. Like, it's not a matter of them, like not being able to read it or not, are being told, like we have to consider these other people too. I didn't really like that comment. Like, did you not read it? Or, and I guess that's why it came out now. But yeah, I was just wondering, with that pump house stuff, if we could do that and the holding tank. Those are my main questions.
Thank you.
My name is Ian Myers, and I'm wondering if we're going to spend $30 million on a new water treatment plant. What's the history of these water treatment plants? Are we going to have these same issues, or is there 100% guarantee that, because you're saying that this is caused by bacteria in our water, well, we're still going to have this bacteria from runoff? What's the history of this new technology? How proven is it? 30 million is a lot of bucks for a small town. So what's the this water treatment plant we're going to build?
I'm not sure I'm the person to answer this question.
We don't have anybody technical tonight, but I can get that back to you. So can you repeat it fully and I'll.
Okay, I'm just wondering this new water treatment plant you've been talking about. There's some new technology, some Star Trek stuff. How can this? What's the history of this, and how we know that we're going to build a new water treatment plant for 30 million, which is a lot of money, that it's going to solve these problems? Because I don't know, do we need to be doing this with our water all the time, treating it as though we have these high THM levels? Because what you're telling me now is that, like people were saying, this has been the case since at least August. We've been having, last two readings have been pretty high, and this is November. Like, everyone here has been drinking the water, showering, bathing. There's a swimming pool over there that's like, is that a risk to people swimming in there? I mean, I'm guessing not, because they're swimming, but what's the difference between that water and, I don't know. That's, I guess, what
How
I'm
it's
asking.
treated, probably.
Well, how is
Yeah.
that treated any different than our drinking water? Like, what's the
I'll let-
difference?
Sure.
Okay, so for the swimming pools, it does have a separate filtration system on top of. It's not just a regular tap water that's going here. It does go through a different filtration system. It does circulate a lot of water. So the risk with swimming, it's not same as what an individual shower or something. So again, I can speak from the science and what's been proven. But swimming pool, again, that's why steam rooms are something that's we have asked that. Again, it's right now it's under maintenance, but that's where the risk is, and that shouldn't be used. But the risk with the swimming pool and being sort of use of the swimming pool because it does have a separate filtration system on top of a regular tap water. The risk is lower, or it's not the same.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take one more question. And then we'll, if you still have questions, like I said, reach out to EMO depending what it's on, reach out to Town Hall. If we can get like some of these technical questions, we will get back, publish it, but yeah, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Elliot Merswood. Thanks for coming out tonight. I'm sure you guys are looking forward to this meeting. So, yeah, I had a question about the tank water, but that was already answered for letting it sit, so that's fine. Is there a lower cost option for getting our plant from where it is now to when we actually build the new one? If we build a new one, when we build a new one, that would be a significant lower cost in order to reach the Health Canada guidelines until we build the new plant. So 50 grand, 60 grand, 140 grand for a retrofit filtration system for the current plant we have to bring it up to the Canadian healthcare standards. Is that an option we could look into instead of the 28
Our
off the
water
bat?
treatment plant isn't, it is, I mean, it's functional, it's working like it's supposed to. It's what we're dealing with, the type of water, right?
Oh.
So the system is what is dated, I guess. There's new technology out there that eliminates a lot of this stuff. So is there another option? If there was a cheaper option, if you know me, I'd have found it. But my understanding is, yeah, things have been changing and standards have changed, and obviously things get old, right? The car, you can keep it limping along, you put a new roof on it or whatever, but we're past that point. And fingers crossed that we should hear shortly, I think, on some funding. So it would have been nice to be able to tell you that, yeah, we're getting a new water treatment plant. And I think we're in the right track. I don't want to jinx us, but I think, yeah, shortly you should know if we are going to be able to build one. And I did promise Beatrice that we would have a public meeting and what that looks like. And in that public meeting, they'll explain to you how the system works as well. We had a bit of a briefing with Stantec when we sat down with them, or Dylan. I'm not sure which, I can't tell you which contractor it was or which engineering firm, but yeah, so they gave us a breakdown, and sometimes it's like you're listening to Greek. It's like, it's Greek to me, but knowing that, yeah, our water treatment plant is working, but it's not working as effectively as a new one would, I guess. So
No, I understand. So my question, sorry, is until, so say we get funding for the new plant and start construction 4 years from now, between now and the future, would we be able to look into a system that would bring our current plant up to just temporarily to the standards for meeting Healthcare Canada guidelines?
I get you. I got it. Okay. Todd was gonna try to-
I'll just add that the town's operators and health and MACA are troubleshooting a few different methods to try and get these levels lower. And so maybe it isn't a major fix. I mean, long-term, yes, we need a new water treatment plant here, but there might be, it could be resolved with just some of these fixes that they are trying right now.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I think that'd be a worthwhile thing to look into. And just the other thing really quick is, like, I think a lot of the frustration with this stuff with everybody that lives up here sees it with our critical infrastructure, right? We got like hydro dams are running from the 40s. All our power plants are not doing great. Just everything is not crumbling, but getting there.
It's old.
But there's really been no meaningful like with the health stuff, right? At 70 years down the road, that's sure 100%, but healthcare costs are going to go up with the population, right? If we're like, we got all the lead and zinc from Pine Point left over, we got all the arsenic trioxide, we got all the stuff coming down from the wildfires that go into the lake. It's only going to increase, and everything coming at the population, it's going to increase healthcare costs and healthcare problems. So if we can mitigate that in a cost-effective way, like what you guys are trying to do, but I guess it's all just coming out of the budget. You know what I mean? Everything just pulls at the budget. But yeah, like I'm not going to get into the bin issue with the garbage bins, but that kind of stuff, right? Where it's like, I don't know how much that costs, but if that was a filtration system to bring THMs under the limit, like, you know what I'm saying? It's we got to start looking at more critical infrastructure, because we just don't have the, now with the mines closing, we don't have all that extra income from the government. So we're going to have to start pulling back on luxuries and clean water and power that works when it's 40 below, right? And that's not any of your guys' issue. That's just an issue for everybody in the community that needs to, we got to kind of get back to basics, unfortunately, because we're entering times that are going to require that.
Focused. Absolutely
So,
agree with you. Yep.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, one more. One more.
Hi there. Name's Chintayanka, and I'm from Denon and Quebec, resident of Hay River. I know Fort Res had issues with water. They did move the intake. I do appreciate the question of moving that intake, right? It probably will have some effect. But my question is, I know the standards for Northwest Territories are set to 100 micrograms per liter, but not all jurisdictions in Canada are set to 100. Quebec is at 80, and they seem to be doing fine over there. What's it going to take for us to lower that regulatory limit to 80?
Well, again, I think the Health Canada is generally what we follow across the territories and across many jurisdictions. Quebec, as you know, always is doing something different compared to everyone else, and it may be, but the ultimate goal of Health Canada, along with us, is to protect the Canadians. And following them, they do have expertise, they do have resources to conduct those large studies, to do those researches and come up with values that are protective across the board. So in NWT, that's what we've been following. We are relying on those expertise that we don't have it in-house to make sure that we are still meeting the same level of drinking water qualities that every other Canadian in every other jurisdiction enjoys.
Yeah, I understand we're following limits and whatnot, but that does not mean that we are being as safe as we can be. That's just a limit. That's a number. If we could come down and work towards that by doing whatever corrective measures may be, changing the intake and whatnot, providing a new treatment plan, that'd be better off for everybody else. Then we wouldn't have to talk about 70 years.
No, absolutely. Again, the goal is not to achieve 100. Goal is not to achieve 100. Goal is to achieve as low as possible. And there has been time in the historic records where values were in just 2 digits, like 10, 20. So there has been time that even town of Hay River had that low value. And again, ultimately, the goal along ourselves and town and Mackay, everyone is to reduce those levels as much as possible. So that is the goal. The goal is not to achieve 100 at all.
Yeah, I know what the goal is. I'm just trying for a better one for all of us.
I agree. So that concludes our part. If, like I said, if you have any questions, mayor@hayriver.com, stop into the office. If I don't know them, I'll help you get the answers. Yeah, communications, this could have been so differently. So I do like lessons learned. So I do thank you for your patience. I'm glad you're all here and I hope you got your questions answered. So enjoy winter. She's here. Thanks, guys.